In fact, in the pledge they recently released, the Republican leadership is
stipend, perhaps it's easier for them to think of people.
They didn't get them. They were really angry.
That this progress will help them because they're
Inevitable that one of them would eventually trod on the grave of the to prevent them from
ideas. It's because we test and validate them with
were so weak from the treatment I had given them.
And then we'd forget them as soon as we made them and throw them over.
Maybe whatever, but I didn't think I needed them, and I avoided ever doing them.
To the victims' families and met with them.
So you have to understand how to work in a team.
Eaters, and I would judge them and criticize them.
Fail, and some of them might succeed, but I will always be safe from the random hurricanes of outcome.
So as I lay them out, you might
as long as you didn't overdose them and kill them.
Of those 11 million undocumented immigrants, I have met many, many of them.
when we use them responsibly.
And best practices. Keep giving them the tools to be the next great entrepreneurs.
More aware of these issues and are moving on them than anybody covering it will give them credit for.
Or gifts. He gave me those things so I could use them to shift the focus on him.
That others realize that what's within them is bigger than their limitations.
We then have these coders look at these tapes, 4 of them. They're blind.
On these data centers and keep them up 24 hours.
Numbers. When you had to remember them if you wanted to call.
Close range. Drove them to the hospital while they bled all over the car.
Every 1 million inhabitants, each year, 1,477 of them are murdered.
However, they also generate way more drag, making them impractical.
And when we gathered together everything we knew about them,
and have them help the others.
But I did forsake them, and I didn't open that
and we'll all experience them in our career.
Now, they used gamma rays, but I'll represent them with
the problems. Then during the course of the novel, I solve them. You don't
way that allows them to live in this moment.
Booster rocket to launch them outside the Earth.
But recent advances may make them feasible.
So we'll use them today and see how they work.
But rather purposely brings them together.
You figure out what they're doing, you learn from them. And so we're really
But when you try to force them on somebody else by using
And we're going to serve them with bug holes in them. It's like Swiss cheese.
Health and well-being of all coral ecosystems, whether we can see them or not.
Out there, I want to talk to you about the biggest, baddest one of them all.
The way. You can start out with every advantage and waste them all.
That allow them to best.
In fact, neither of them.
And you got people over there screaming at them, and you got people.
Before giving you more details, let me introduce them to you.
Like not arguing against them.
The future, but none of them feel like a waste.
He's outlined them with
America. We didn't lose them because they became obsolete.
Time viewer and turn them into
So, who lived there, and what happened to them?
And now we get to listen to them sing. No.
Preventing them from enlisting.
He demands to know why she betrayed them both by
And finally, researchers compare them to
Behaviors. Every single one of them is unique.
Euthydemus confidently categorizes them as making them essential to predict and plan for. During an interview in 1964, Koyama lamented that her 17 years of observation had barely been enough to produce